Hermann, you're heading a patriotic Eurosceptic party in Ireland. Could you tell us a little bit more about yourself, where you're from, and how come your parents gave you the name Hermann?
That's interesting. So my name is Hermann Kelly. My father is Irish, my mother is Australian. Her maiden name was Mary Hermann. Her mother was Irish, her father was German. My father loved the Germans because they gave us guns against the British. Her maiden name was Mary Hermann. I got it as a Christian name. I'm from the Bogside in Derry, which is a very Irish Republican area. I grew up in the height of the Troubles. There's bullet holes at the side of our house, the front of our house. Bombs went off regularly. I imbibed the nationalist and Irish Republican ideology of the time, which was the desire for democratic national self-determination. That idea has never left me, and now the Irish Freedom Party, we campaign for personal freedom and national sovereignty, and that means Ireland free of both London and Brussels control, that we can make our own laws and decide our own destiny in the world. Myself, I studied to be a teacher first, then I worked as a journalist. I eventually became a director of communications, and hey, I ended up in the European Parliament for the last 13 years. They can't get rid of me.
Well, great to have you here. Thank you for coming, Hermann. Let's talk about recent changes in Irish attitudes to migration. Now, the German press, as far as I can see, doesn't talk about it at all, for obvious reasons, but I hear there have been numerous rallies and protests against migration throughout Ireland.
Yeah, there's actually been hundreds. In the last 3 months, it really kicked off at the beginning of November. Now, the first protest we had a protest 4 years ago outside the Parliament against the UN Migration Pact. But since, in the last 4 months, it has really kicked off, and there's been an organic and pretty explosive growth in the number of rallies of people concerned about, especially about the security of their streets and of their country, because the huge number of unvetted males coming into the state, it also has a very detrimental effect on the housing market. People's ability, just because numbers have increased, demand goes up, rents go up, house prices go up, people can't afford somewhere to stay. They're paying $2 billion next year just to keep these asylum seekers. Huge amount of money in Ireland. And certainly the people are now up on their hind legs protesting against the imposition of uncontrolled, unvetted immigration into Ireland. And you know what? It is also a flourishing of a national self-consciousness in Ireland. We're sick of other people imposing the laws and controlling our borders, and we've had enough.
Very understandable, I'd say. What's the point of independence, even from Britain, if you end up being a settlement area for people from other parts of the world? Now, the south of Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, independent Ireland, was once regarded as one of the safest and most peaceful countries in the world. Only 15 years ago, I think that description would have been apt. So what's changed and why?
Well, would you believe, in terms of demographics, that in the last 30 years the population has increased by 46% in the south, from 3.5 million people to over 5 million people. And for example, the number of people who came into Ireland just last year, there was 284,000 people came in, got new security numbers. Only 65,000 of those were actually born in Ireland. So that meant 220,000 people came in to live and to work in Ireland last year. There's I think between Ukrainians and asylum seekers, over 90,000 people came into Ireland last year. The vast majority of these people, especially asylum seekers, the vast majority of asylum seekers are bogus. They come in, they claim between getting on the plane and getting off at Dublin Airport, they've lost their passport, over 60%. So we are being basically, they are gaming the system, they are milking us dry, they are a threat to our national security, they're making Ireland less safe, and just people have said, you know what, Ireland is full, enough is enough, you need to stop this, and we need to take back control of our borders.
Well, I'm very pleased to hear it. Of course, all these problem sounds very familiar to someone from Germany. And I was going to ask you about the demographic change. You said 46%.
46% in the last 30 years.
Right.
And given our birth rate is below, it's currently 1.5 children per woman, while they're not being replaced. I'll give you a simple idea of how Irish people are being replaced and displaced. So according to the OECD, 17% of people born in Ireland live outside the country. And would you believe that 17% of people living in Ireland are non-Irish nationals? So there's a direct one-for-one replacement that Irish people are being replaced by non-Irish people. And hey, we never consented to this colonisation. Now, we had a plantation by British settlers in the 17th century, and we regarded what is happening now, because of EU open borders and bogus asylum seekers, we regard this as a new plantation, and we never gave consent to this colonisation.
Now, do you think that EU membership and the EU's principle of free movement of people have contributed to changing attitudes on immigration in Ireland? Yeah,
because historically Ireland and Irish people emigrated. We left, we went to other countries. So the idea of people actually wanting to come to Ireland was kind of, well, it was a novelty. But people didn't come, but there was still a sense that this is Ireland, these are our borders. If you want to come in and reside here, you have to ask us. But the EU doctrine of free movement, which meant that at the moment 450 million people have an untrammeled right to come, enter and reside in Ireland, basically changed the mentality that from, no, this is Ireland, this is our borders, you have to ask us to come in here, that basically it's led to a mentality of a free-for-all, that this and the far left doctrine of no borders, no countries has taken effect. And at the moment, a free-for-all is occurring with no controls. The people aren't vetted. We don't know their criminal history. We don't know, can they give anything to our country, benefit our country, or are they simply here to milk our welfare system? And it hasn't led to any good, but the mentality engendered by EU membership hasn't been a good one.
Well, I was going to ask you about the principles and principal aspects of your party's program. I think you've made that clear and you've answered this in your initial response. But I would assume, given that you are challenging many of the politically correct assumptions of contemporary Irish politics too, because your government is massively promoting immigration into Ireland. So the media, in consequence, will be taking the government's sides. So how are you overcoming media propaganda and general political hostility of the establishment in Ireland?
Well, we're basically, the media in Ireland are completely in hock financially as well as philosophically to the left and to the government. They're completely compliant. We basically use social media as much as possible to get over the blockade, basically, of our voice in the national media. There's a lot of name calling involved, the vast majority of it without any foundation whatsoever. In fact, they're happy to lie about us all the time. And I know that you have that a lot. The AfD experienced that a lot as well. Basically, you just have to be straight, honest with people, explain the situation, get out there on social media, be it Twitter, Facebook, TikTok is now the latest craze, and use that leaflet and get out and meet people on the street, explain to them face to face that that's what we're doing. And these rallies have raised the consciousness of the people, and it is becoming, because of these rallies, it has also led to debate, which even 3 months ago was completely unthinkable. But it is, not only do we question what is happening with immigration, but also, for instance, the whole imposition of this LGBTIQ, this trans agenda, which is so dangerous to children, the whole idea of high spend, high tax society, the whole idea of climate alarmism, the world is going to end in 12 years, the sky is going to fall down. We take on all these nonsense and we take on everyone. We go at all of them. We have a large lunch. We feast well on their tears.
Well, there's a lot
Yes.
to fight against, undoubtedly, and all these things you've emphasized, they sound very familiar from Germany, but it's been very encouraging to talk to you and hear that resistance is still alive and kicking in Ireland.
We definitely hope that other people across Europe see what's happening in Ireland with all these rallies, the kickback, a conservative comeback, basically, in Ireland, and that they would take hope and that, things can change, that ideas, policies that were kept off the agenda, kept away in this cordon sanitaire, are allowed back, and that ordinary people can have a voice and make a change. And it would be wonderful if other people across Europe could see that as well.
Well, thank you very much, Hermann.
It was a
As
pleasure,
I said,
Gunnar.
very encouraging, and let's hope Ireland will be leading the way. Thank you very much.
Gur maith agat sa.